In the following video, we are going to see how to create an army of AI agents that are specialized in creating outbound emails personalized for different people. We're going to see how the new framework of Microsoft Autogen works and how to create this from scratch. So let's tune in, let's start with the video right now. I want to start first off by defining what actually is Autogen and how it works. So Autogen is a framework created by Microsoft that is designed to create and come up with AI agents in a fast and effective way. There are two key features that are new about this auto agent. The first one is the user proxy agent. So by using the user proxy agent, you are actually communicating with the agent in real time and providing feedback by writing text and by communicating with them. And so in that way, the agents doesn't go off a tangent, but it can actually report back to you, and you can provide them some further guidance if they need to. The second most useful tool is group chat. So in the group chat, you can add multiple different agents inside, and in this way you can coordinate the different activities. So if you think about a specific set of activities like creating an outbound campaign, this requires a different set of functions inside the business. It requires a person who does the research for the lead, a person who does the actual writing for the lead, and a person who creates the campaigns, sends the campaigns, manages the campaigns. In this way, what we can actually do is create different functionalities inside the code so that we have these different tools and we have these different agents inside the code. So here we are inside this Visual Studio Code instance where I can show you how we can actually create these AI agents that are useful for outbound. So we'll start by creating a main.py file, which is the first file that we need to create, and then we'll need to import a couple of models here. So we start off by importing these four modules here: Autogen, OpenAI, .m, which is a module for getting the env variables, and then import the OS. After that, what we do is we create the .env file where we will save our OpenAI API key, and then we will save another key, which is the proxy curl API key, which is the key that will allow us to search for LinkedIn and search information inside LinkedIn for our given prospect. So after we added all the information here, we can start going inside the main.py file and continue working on that. So the first thing would be to set up the OpenAI key. And we set up the OpenAI key by loading the .env, then calling OpenAI.API key equal os.get env, and then OpenAI API key. The next step here is to set up a config list, which is a file that will be used for Autogen in order to get the different information and get the OpenAI keys in the Autogen in the format that Autogen likes. So next step is config list equal autogen.config list from JSON, and then we call the file config list. The file will have the following format: is just a list with the model and the API keys, so everything is accessible to Autogen. So next up, we will design all the helper function that we need, and in order to do that, we need to define the actual structure of the bot that we want. So we want a researcher first, so a bot that takes the information, and then we want an outbound writer, sort of a bot that writes the information. So we'll start with the researcher first, and we want to get the information out of LinkedIn. So we will need to create a couple of helper functions that will be used from this bot, and that will be called with function calling. So helper functions And the first one will be to scrape LinkedIn. And we will give a LinkedIn URL as a string over here. So in order to do that, what we will do is we will use a software called the proxy curl. This is the software, and this allows us to send a request and get all the different information that we can get from LinkedIn directly in JSON format. So this will be useful for us, especially when we need to get all the information. So we'll start by defining the API endpoint, which is this one over here. Okay. Then we set up the API key. Start get env. At this point, we will design the API call. And in order to design that, we need to import requests. At this point, we will have the actual API call, and what we need to do is summarize this so it can be used in an effective way by the LLM. So we will summarize, and then I'll define this module right now. So summarize response, which will be our output. And then return the output. Now we will define the summarize function. So in order to define the summarize function, what we will add over here is we will add the LangChain modules. So in that way, we can actually import a already made summarization chain that is available in LangChain. We can use that directly, and we don't have any problems with the summarization. So I'll import all the code. That we need right now. The first import is the LangChain chat models. So we import the chat OpenAI. We import a text splitter. We already import the load summarize chain. And then finally, we import the prompt template. Okay, now that we imported everything, what we need to start doing is the summarization model. So here this will be something along the lines of LLM. We define the LLM. We define the chat OpenAI. We define the model that we want to use. We would like to use GPT 3.5 Turbo 16K because the parameters are pretty big, so we need that bigger context window in this specific instance. Next, we need to do a text. So here's the prompt that we are using. This is the map prompt. Act as an expert outbound research, write a detailed summary of the following person based on the LinkedIn data. And here we are looking for information such as the name of the company, the past results, successfully transitioning from working to a job to their own business, college education, city where they live, and so on. So in this way, we are actually get some key points that could be useful later on for personalization purposes. Now we are loading the template, and now we create the summarization chain. Okay, so summarization chain is defined. So the two key functions that for the researcher are defined. Now it comes time to work on this framework and create the actual research. Okay, so now that we already have those out of the way, which was the initial part, we need to start working and we need to start experimenting with Autogen. So the first thing that we're gonna build is we're gonna build a research function where we will have a AI research agent with all these functionalities. So we start with creating the function called the research with the data. Okay, and inside here, what we will add is we will add the LLM config with the function calling. So function calling, just to give you a little bit of an explanation, are different functions that could be called by the LLM or by you to do specific kind of functionality. So the large language model by default is not able to browse the internet. So what you can do is give them functionalities or give them functions that they can call at any time in order to do those specific tasks. So in this case, the LLM will need to research the following person. It doesn't have any information on the person. So what we will do is use function calling in order to call our scrape LinkedIn function based on the LinkedIn profile that it will be given and start generating information about the person. So here we define the LLM config researcher. Here we'll define the function. We will have script LinkedIn, which is the function that we created before, and all the properties that will be used by here. And we also set up the config list over here, so there's no problem. After this is set, we start off by setting up the outbound researcher. So outbound researcher is equal to Autogen dot assistant agent, and assistant agent is what is used to create agents that do not require our personal input. User proxy agents are the ones that require our personal input. The system message that we will use is all related to searching the LinkedIn profile and generating a response from the report. And what we do over here is we add terminate to the end, so that in that way we can actually stop the flow and let it work in an effective way. So now we build the outbound researcher. So we have Autogen.assistant agent. We define the name, we define a system message for them, research the LinkedIn profile, and then add the terminate to the end. So in that way, this can be used to the user proxy agent to understand where is the time to start off and when is the time to provide feedback for them. So next, we define the user proxy agent. So user proxy equal Autogen dot user proxy agent name user proxy. What we did here is we defined the user proxy agent with all the different things that are needed. So we define a code execution config, so what it will be needed for them to run the code, because the user proxy agent is the one responsible for running the code, the max consecutive auto reply number, and then the termination messages. So we finished setting up the user proxy agent here. We added a code execution config, and then the other important thing is termination message that identifies which is the termination message, which is the word terminate. So the word that ends with terminate is what we want to have with the termination message, and then finally we map out the different functions that are available here and that could be executed. Now in this part we can initialize the chat, and then we set up the members of the chat, so outbound researcher, and then define the message. Create the user proxy here, initiate the chat. In the chat we have outbound researcher, we have the message, and then the message says research lead website based on LinkedIn profile. This will already create the first execution and the first AI agent interface that is available in Autogen. Now we added these additional elements over here. So in this way, we stop the reply at received when outbound researcher is present. And then once we have the report, we just click again and then have the generalized report at the end. And all of this will be given as the content for the next agent. So right now we'll start defining the next agent here, which will be outbound message creation. So create the outreach creation function. What I did here is I created a create outreach message with different agents inside. So the agents that we have is an outbound strategist, so the responsible for analyzing the research material and coming up with a research email structure, the outbound copywriter who actually writes the email, a reviewer which critiques the email and then provides some feedback points to the email, and what we added over here after 2 rounds of content iteration, terminate the message. So in this way we don't have any problem with running a continuous loop. And finally here we added a user proxy, which is the admin, so the admin that governs the whole chat. Finally, what we create here is we create the group chat. So inside the group chat, we put all these different agents, or like people, if you want to call it, AI people. And then in this way, we have our manager, which manages the group chat. And then we initiate the chat to write a personalized cold email to lead. Here are the materials. And then you start and get all the messages right now. So what we did here is we created 2 different agents. We created a research agent, so on one side, which is responsible for doing all the research and is composed of an executor and an assistant. And then we created a group chat responsible for the outreach creation. Finally here, what we need to do is we need to unify those in a single main agent. So what I did over here is I created 2 main functions that should be called by this next agent, which will have 2 other agents inside, a research one and the create outreach message one. So in this way I added those functions inside this agent, and this is the configuration function. So next up is create the writing assistant or the agent, outbound writing assistant. Here I created a writing assistant, give them a system message about the functionalities that it can use. Add the user proxy agent here, once again with the function map that it can execute, and then run the code with some data. So here's the finalized version. We have everything here. Next step is just we need to set up and text all of this. So what we will do right now is run the code, see how it works, and then provide some consideration at the end. Okay, so here it seems that it gives all the information in a fast way. This is because the information is cached. So what it does is it starts off by creating an effective outreach message for the following lead. We don't even have a specific product to sell to this person, so the message is not gonna be all that good probably. So what it starts to do is it starts to send a specific function. So it starts to send a research function with a bunch of data. And once it sends that function, it needs to use the scrape, then scrape LinkedIn, get the information from LinkedIn, and then create a LinkedIn report over here. So here we created a LinkedIn report. You just click on go because we all have the different information, and then what happens after is the outbound strategies start to create an initial message that could be used. The outbound copywriter then proceeds and create a finalized part of this message, and then the reviewer gives some additional key personalization and key points that could be used. So everything goes in this way, and then you can give your feedback to the chat manager and finalize it. Now, I hope you like this tutorial. This is my first of many, so keep in mind the quality was not as high as possible. I plan to be way better in the future. Hope you liked it and hope you understood that this powerful framework is really useful when you need to create different AI agents. And there's a lot of possibilities here when you map out a specific function inside your business, define different sub-steps as agents, and then let them run through a process like the following one. So I hope you like the video, and then catch you to the next one. Bye bye, have a nice day.